Hey everybody, so we're all done with the flatbed build. I've gotten a ton of questions on what we did, what we loved about it, what we changed. So I thought it would take probably just a few minutes and kind of go through the step-by-steps. So the first video was us just more like tearing the deck down, finding we had some rust spots we had to address. We fixed all those. We actually ended up doing 2 more coats of bed liners. We've got a total of 4 coats from total. So it's like 2 from the original, 2 we just added on last week. So it's nice thick protection. We ended up going with 2 100-gallon slim lines. These are the 5/16 thick tanks, and we really enjoy these. So this is a little secret thing that we did because we had so much extra room with these slimline tanks. Typically on the old setup, we had this real rounded tank, then we had another chemical tank. We didn't have a ton of room here, so we were able to actually fabricate a little ladder rail system, if you will. So one ladder can actually go on there, a second ladder can go on, and just a rubber tie on with some rubber zip ties that we have on all our trucks. But both of these tanks are 100 gallons apiece and the Siamese together for a total 200-gallon capacity, which is pretty incredible. And we just run this little dump ball valve right here. Eventually we're gonna plumb it down, I think kind of more behind the tire. But we do like whenever we're done with the job, we can just quickly rinse our hands, so it does work out that way too. So we actually kind of repurposed this 55-gallon vertical square tank from a previous build that we had. It was one of our skids. It was kind of our extra chemical tank if we ever needed to use it. It was there on the fly for just what-if situations. But I really like the idea of just making this our primarily chemical tank for sodium hypochlorite on this truck. So what we have here is our D3 downstream manifold, which we love, and we'll do a closer walkthrough in a second. We have Judd West Flow Pro system right here, which is it's on every one of our builds. We love those to death. And then we went with a dual NOCO Genesis 5 amp per battery bank charger. So anytime we're done with the job, we do a bunch of windows, we just plug in right here, and then everything on the system is all charged up and ready to go for the next one. I get a lot of questions on our D3 downstream manifold system. So essentially this is how the block looks. So we have Soper Chemical 1, 2, and 3, and how we operate it on this truck is this line is actually for our sodium hypochlorite, so it's for this tank. And as we want to do a master flush on it, we have a water line. So this is a master water, goes right to our raw water tank up here. So as we're using chemicals, we have a bunch in our lines, our chemical injectors over there through the system, way tucked in over there, and we'll get to that. We can turn it off, so to be on, we're gonna turn that off, and then we would actually activate the water line for a full system rinse out to the high pressure reels. And we think these are just pretty incredible. So we didn't really change the 8-gallon a minute unit setup on the back. It's been kind of bulletproof for us, these units. They're from Pressure Pro, but they've literally been bulletproof. It's been gas, oil changes, filter changes, tightening belts occasionally. But these have been great. I think that unit has 850 hours. This is about 450-ish. So we'll run both of these through the rest of the 2026 season. And I think at that point, both of these will be fully deducted as far as taxes go. So we'll donate these units to a newer business starting out in the Tulsa area, and then we'll buy 2 new units to backfill these. So if you need a unit at the end of 26, reach out, we'll probably just give you one. So that's kind of how we do that. So these are the reels that we're always gonna run on this truck. So we have, on this far side, we have 2 independent supply reels. So as we have 2 100-gallon tanks in there, we actually have, each tank has its own Hudson float valve. So if we wanted to just run one supply line, it's good to go. If we wanted to run both, those tanks will never overflow, which is really important for us. Because a lot of times when we get into like parking garage season, both of these will be activated and turned on because we're probably using both of those 8-gallon a minute units. Or if we're at a large residential job, the same situation, we'll have both of these on spigots, because traditionally we'll have both of those 8-gallon a minute units flowing, and then we'll probably have somebody doing windows, if not both window reels going at the same time. So that's the reason you'll see all of our flatbeds, we always run a dual water supply feed. Let's go do a deep dive over the top of the tanks, kind of have what we have plumbed up here. So the bracing we have, we actually use 1/8 inch 6063 aluminum. We had fabbed up actually in the shop over there, and we'll go through that build over there later at the end of the video. But we wanted something really structurally strong. 1/4 inch was too big, 3/16 was still too thick. Those are the gauges we would use on like skids. Like the skid we have out there, that's 1/4 inch. But it's really structurally heavy. So these aren't as heavy requirements as far as that goes. So 1/8 inch is perfect for these, and they're not going anywhere. They're actually tied in with those little lag bolts there through the deck. But we'll start with the supply reel. So everything we see in blue is 3/4 inch crush proof Curatech. So they start going through these filters and they run through here independently. So once we get to the top of this bulkhead right here, there's actually a Hudson underneath it. So maybe I can get a shot in there so you can see that. So each of these tanks are identical essentially. So there's a Hudson under this one. Obviously you saw that one. And that's our entire supply run. It's very short, very simple. We love how the line just comes directly up here, dumps right into the tanks, so we don't have to worry about anything. It's filtered before it gets to the tank, so we actually have filters on everything as it comes out, which is kind of a redundancy, because we know as water enters the tank, everything is clean. All the big sediment's been pulled out by these micro mesh filters. So these tanks will stay essentially perfect for the rest of their life. We should probably do a deep dive on this water filtration because I've gotten a lot of messages on my personal Facebook about how this is set up, how it's plumbed, how can somebody make this on their own, or if they want to have us do it, we can do it too through American Wash Systems. But it all starts inside the tank where the water is pulled from. So there's no drop sticks. These are actually just pushed all the way down through with some special seals that create a waterproof hole so no water's going to come out. But it's all going to be pulled from that master line that we see. The same line, there's no breaks, no cuts. So each of these lines are ran exactly the same. So we'll run one side and just know it's the same on the other side. So that same line we saw comes down to the entry point of the pump. And here's the pump size. If you're curious, we're going to buy one. This is a 2.2 gallon unit. And since this is just a 3-stage system, we can get away with a little bit lower PSI. So this pump only runs 60 PSI, where the ones with our 4-stage RO-DI system actually have to have a full 100 PSI to actually operate that RO membrane. So water comes in here through the pump and it pushes through the first stage, which is right there. So it runs through our first stage, which is a sediment filter, and it moves through our charcoal filter right here. Here's a better view of what we've done. So this is just so clean. I love the aluminum work that everybody did. It's just so clean. It's easy to attach stuff when we want to. We can see we got our Flow Pro and our NoCo just attached right there. No big issues. Everything's tucked away wire-wise, out of the way and safe. Each battery is so this one is for the pressure washers. This is for the window cleaning units. I'm really proud of all the plumbing. It's so clean. We love these T-bolt style, let's see, hose attachments right there. These are really incredible for getting no leaks. These are way better than the worm style. And then all the electrical it's in this wire conduit all the way down. So it's not gonna rub, there's no breaks. And we actually wired this up to 10 gauge wire. We end those long electric runs right here. So we have these marine grade style batteries independent of each other. Each pump is its own side. Each pump is its own reel. So it's 2 full independent 3-stage systems. So if you do ever want to do the wiring for your actual 12-volt systems, you should certainly dive into it and see if you enjoy it. One mistake we made early on, hopefully we can prevent you from doing that, but we were undersizing the wiring. So with these 12-volt pumps, I think they're pushing 8 amps each. We were undersizing the wire, which means the wire had too much load on it for the small diameter that the wire was. So I think we were using at the time 14 or 16 gauge wire. So if you're not familiar, the bigger the gauge number, actually the smaller the wire. So what we went with this is it's marine grade, it's 10 gauge, so it's very, very heavy duty, much thicker, handles the capacity of the electronics much, much safer. If you're ever curious if you're undersizing your wire, there's a really good test you can just do on your own. So you have your battery over there. Before you even turn them on, just hook a voltmeter up to it. It should read 12.2, 12.6. So that's an initial reading. So once you have your pumps hooked up, turn those pumps on and then remeasure the same battery. If it's over 1 amp loss, because it'll go down a little bit when your pumps turn on because it's calling for power, which is normal. You don't want to see a 2 amp drop, so you don't want to go to 10 or 9. That would be devastating for the life cycle of what your pump needs. So we found the best for this run. It was only about a total of 8 linear foot of runtime, or linear feet, I should say, sorry. It only went down 0.7 amps, so that was the goal. So really minimal loss on the voltage amps for what we need for this battery setup for these 12-volt batteries and the pumps. We just want to give these as much power, as much life cycle as they can. So I almost forgot, we're gonna run over this build. This is coming up. We're gonna start working on it, I think, Tuesday for this next one. So we have a 12-inch supply line. We have our 3-stage Flowmix Pro manifold there. You can see how it's labeled. We got water, soap, chem, and then if you want to add a 4th port, you certainly can right there. But it's mostly for, if we're going to run a pure water tank, that's where that port would go in right there. Tandem axle, 3,500 capacity each, so 7,000 pounds this trailer can hold. This will be a soft wash line for an 18-inch reel, and then another 18-inch reel for our high pressure. We're going to run a 7-gallon tank on this one. And then we're gonna run 100 for chemicals and then 200 tandem for water capacity, just raw water. So we're excited about this one. We'll get cranking hopefully Tuesday on this. We'll get it going out. We love these manifolds that we get to operate with. So it's one of our Flowmix Pros. So it's a 3-stage. We have our water, our soap line, and our chemical line, and it's all metered. So if you want to get down here, you want to adjust, typically your water's on all the way as you run those 100%. The soap, we keep about 1, maybe 1.5%. It doesn't take long or much for the soap to start showing up in this. And here's our chemical SH line right there. So we'll typically, if we want to run that, since your water's wide open, if we're going to actually operate it, it'll be on. If we want a 4% mix here, if we want a full 6% mix here, if we want to dial it down for a house wash at 2%, you can do that too. So very versatile. This is the 5.3 flow sensitive rim coat that we just love to use. So marine grade switch here off and on, nice big, this is 10 gauge wire right here. And we love running that. And then these quick releases, if you ever want to just change the pump out, not a big deal. Take these bolts off, put a new pump on, takes about 5 minutes in and out. So we'll grab one of these units. They are both 8 gallon a minute, BE units, cold units. So we'll probably just grab this one and put it up in the front of this one. And then I believe this one is stationed or being held for another trailer build that we have coming up. I think it's right out there. So a couple of projects coming up. We have an 8-foot skid, full aluminum. This is the 3/16 thickness gauge that we were talking about earlier. We love working with these, and this is our next trailer. So this is a 6x12 tandem. It's the same trailer as inside. And we're fortunate enough, we found a trailer vendor here in the Tulsa area that will actually fab this rail up for us. So we just get this trailer this way. It saves us a bunch of fabrication time, and they can just do it in-house anyways. So they have the metal out. We've been throwing some really fun plans around as far as setups and SKUs go for, instead of running a 6x12 trailer, which is what this is, running a 6x10. So a little shorter. Most of the people in our area that are in year 1 to 3 of their businesses, they really can't allocate a truck yet for the business. They're just not quite there, but they will be soon. So a skid's not for them, a flatbed's not for them yet. So a lot of our new business owners that are wanting equipment, this is what they want. And we don't mind fabbing trailers out at all. It's actually more enjoyable for us too. We have a little more space than working with something like a skid, where once you get equipment on, reels, tanks especially, the space kind of starts to creep up on itself, and it's more difficult to get in spaces for like wiring, tucking things away. With the trailer, we have all of this real estate. So we're excited about doing a 6x10 build out. I think it'd be a lot more fun. There's still room for surface cleaner, a ladder rack on there. There's spots for 1 gallon pump up sprayers still, so it still accommodates everything a 6x12 does. It's just a little easier to get around town. So there's some places in Tulsa, the roads are literally just a foot wider than this trailer in certain parts. So a little shorter trailer just makes it a little easier. Cool, so I think we're gonna wrap this one up here. It's getting kind of lengthy and long. I'm kind of starting to ramble about stuff. But I've had some feedback. People want to see us actually build a trailer out. So we might take this one on as like our test pilot for, we might just make an episode. So we might do one for 6x10s, 6x12s. We have some skids coming up. So we might just do like an episode of how we do this. So if you guys want to do it, you'll have a better understanding. It's not as difficult as you think. But if you want somebody to professionally do it, that's been doing this for, this is our 8th year now, building skids and trailers and flatbeds. You can reach out at AmericanWashSystems.com, give us an inquiry, shoot us an email, let us know what your thoughts are on your upcoming project. Do you do more windows, you soft wash, or you do a downstream guide, do you just do a bunch of concrete and pool decks, or do you just do house washes? So We want to know, are you 12 volt or do you downstream? We can set up all that equipment for you, however you want for your rigs. With that said, I think this would be really fun to start doing episodes on each kind of build structure that we do, so you guys can kind of see behind the scenes and some of the laughter and goofing off and some of the, what would it be? Kind of like a blooper reel, which we had earlier. We were on site down in Arkansas recording today, and I think there's some footage of me tripping over a rock and falling like really slow. So we'll get maybe some of that stuff in there for you guys to see. It's not always professionalism. Sometimes life happens and we roll with it, literally like today. So I think that's it. We're gonna end this one. Comment yes if you want to see us do some videos like this as each trailer or skid comes out. We'd love to do that for you guys if you want to. I know our social media girl would love to kind of dive into that project too. She's been kind of hinting about it. So yeah, this trailer's ready to roll. We'll see you guys Tuesday, and questions, drop them down below and we'll reply back to you. Thanks.